Hi, my name is Carl Francois, and I'm the administrator for that account. And the contract that you enter into with me will be on my terms, not anybody else's. So I'm just going to brief up a little bit on a few things, how the court system works, how we can address our remedies, and everything. Everything is done under contract, and you don't owe any money without one. And when you deal with corporations, lands and whatnot, issues like that, uh, you know, especially we talk about land, a lot of land issues, and how to deal with them, how lands are taken without consent, and doing business without consent, and most everything under that is like it's a contract. It's a licensed corporation, so everything like that is subject to statutory law, and statutory law is a creation. Although it is registered, but not the government didn't create it. It is actually not a creation of statutes, and is to say it's how the law is dealt with is through statutory. Laws and whatnot, but we don't recognize that. We don't stand in statutory laws, and the government is always, you talk about the supreme law of the land, Section 52, and with government agents, it's Section 32. That's where everything is based on. The things that they do in court and whatnot, they're bound by their laws. Through that, and they have to pay that with statutes, regulations, policies, administration, stuff like that. And it's the capacity that where we are, and especially with Frank, and like he mentioned that he never signed the treaties with the government and whatnot. So that's where he stands. That that's what he believes, and that's where he is. And under common law, that's where he stands. And there's no admiralty law on him that's bound by him anywhere, because he never signed nothing. And as a legal person, that's the role. That's the role. Like a legal person is not him. That's what created by signature. And for him, he understands all those areas and whatnot, who he is and where he stands. And when you talk about jurisdiction, and with him, he understands what jurisdiction is, and you gotta have paperwork, contract that he signed and whatnot, that he's under the jurisdiction of the government. But what's the proof of that? Especially on his territory, the onus is on the government. Otherwise, to prove that that he's bound by their laws, which he's not, and he's just exercising his his common law, as a private person, private rights with his territory. And like he mentioned that he never signed a contract with the government at all, so he's not bound by any of their regulations or their laws. And the whole point of the government is in the first place is to create a civilized organization to protect your birthright, which is your share of the Commonwealth. It was to register your assets and stop people from stealing our estates. And the Queen is the protector of the Commonwealth, the common law and faith. The first thing that the people need to understand is that there is no definite authority on your rights but God, Creator. You dictate your own rights and how your life is going to be lived. Everyone looks for a definite answer, but there isn't one. The whole point of being a sovereign is that aside from being subject to the laws of God, you are subject to no man. There's always remedy, always a higher authority to go to. But you have to express your injuries. You cannot write a letter to your member of parliament and complain that you were mistreated. You have to swear out an affidavit of what? Things that have transpired, or what they have done to you. And you have to serve it on them. Then let them not reply to it. And then you have to sue them civilly. So in Manitoba, it is the Queen's Bench, or wherever you are, it is your superior court. You will have recourse and remedy All you have to do is read the rules of the Court of the Queen's Bench, Supreme Court, and the Criminal Code of Canada, or your relevant act. And to dismantle the banking system, read the acts, like the UN Act or the Bill of Exchange. Read all this stuff. You're the principal creditor in everything that is going on in the world. Nothing could exist without your signature and equity. That's how it is with Frank. They need a signature. But where the contracts that he signed, with the equity and everything else, but there's none. He's been asking for the proof of what he signed. Show me the contracts that you have jurisdiction over me and my territory and my people. But they're not disclosing any of it because they don't have it, and you can do nothing with that. The court sees the facts and evidence, which they don't have. So they're wrangling on here and there, which they don't have. Trying to compile something against him. So, and nothing can exist without your signature, like I said, and equity. There must be an original charge for everything, but they haven't showed him the original charges of what happened. Nothing. They haven't brought the full disclosure of his charges, and they're just trying to put him in the boat right away without they're already defaulting him in certain areas which they didn't even present in court yet. You can have the cart ahead of the horse. In other words, you got to deal with them. If they're going to deal with things in court, they got to follow procedure, protocol, due process of law. But it's not happening. They're trying to now they know that I know that he knows that they're in trouble now because of, like I said, and nothing. It's pretty good where he is now, where he stands now, and we're pretty confident that he's gonna go ahead with it and deal with it. Get the remedy and what's due to him. And a nation, like I'll talk about, a nation is not a landmass. It is an administrative organization. That's what a nation is. They do not physically exist. When you look at a map and see Canada over the land map, it is no different to Coca-Cola under trade territory. In reality, the only Canadians are the government agents. That's what they are. And the government agents. And they do not have power to enforce matters. They do have power to enforce matters in common law, but they do this in de facto. And what are treaties? Treaties are just basically a trust corpus. That's what they mean. And where two parties have an agreement together on how they're going to operate. Anyone born on a landmass is a native of that landmass. We all have a claim wherever we are born, and he's born in that territory where the Creator gave him. And that's where we're at now, and especially with us. We have to protect our land. That's what the mandate the elders gave me. Don't give up the land, don't surrender the land. Make sure everything's in a contract where people will benefit. You do contracts. If they benefit, then as long as there's a lot of mechanisms put in place where it will protect the land and whatnot. If something happens like cleanups and whatnot, make sure it's done in the contract. And the main thing is everybody to be happy, and things are done right, and contracts are good. And as long as they're followed, then I got no trouble with that. That's as far as I'm going to go right now. Thanks.